On est de retour à l'antichambre, mais il y a eu substitution au niveau des panélistes. Marc Denis, PJ Stock et Stéphane Waite. Messieurs, bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Luc.
Si vous êtes là, c'est parce qu'on a un invité spécial que vous connaissez bien. On va aller le retrouver directement à Kelowna. C'est Carey Price qui est avec nous. Carey, thanks for being with us tonight.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Before talking about your career and what's going on for you, let's talk about Hockeyville. You're the ambassador for Hockeyville 25. Having grown up in Annam Lake, I imagine that you did not hesitate for a second to associate yourself with this program.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Craft Hockeyville is a big ambassador for grassroots hockey, and being from a remote, small town like myself, it's easy to associate with a great company like them.
And what do you think that can change in a community to have that kind of program?
Well, I think, first and foremost, it's a big morale boost for small communities to get an upgrade to a hockey rink. I know that for myself, hockey was a big part of my life as a kid, and being able to walk into a facility that has everything that you could need, and it's, like I said, it's a big morale boost for kids to be able to walk into a rink and enjoy their experience at their home rink.
And different cities can give their application until I think it's middle of March. So they go on the website of Hockeyville to get all the information. Now I'm going to pass the next question to your former goalie coach, Stéphane Waite. Stéphane?
Hey, my man, how you doing?
Excellent. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, you look great. So, hey,
so do you, but you have a lot of makeup on.
yeah. Hey, what do you miss the most? I know you miss me a lot, but except of me, what do you miss the most right now about Montreal?
Yeah, well, besides you, it's probably just being around the fellas. I think most hockey players, when they're removed from playing the game for a bit, they miss being a part of a team environment. I think another thing, obviously, I miss is actually playing the games, and that competitive nature and the preparation and everything that leads up to the puck drop is something that I miss the most.
Yeah, but I know you don't miss all those video sessions every morning. You don't miss that,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, intellectual learning, I think, is what we called it, right?
Carey, I'll stay on the Hockeyville thing for a quick second because it is so cool. People are just watching you on TV, and here's a guy from a small town, and look at all these trophies behind you. You're going to go into a small town, and they're all going to be, oh my God, that's Carey Price, and he's came from here, and he's able to do that. Who's someone you looked at when you were younger and were like, I want to be like that guy?
Oh, I had a lot of, hockey heroes as a kid. I obviously looked up to goaltenders in particular. Marty Brodeur being one of them, and Patrick Waugh being another. All the great goaltenders of the time in my childhood I looked up to. And, honestly, one of the people that I looked up to the most is probably my dad. He played goal himself, and also came from a small town, Veteran, Alberta, and was able to play pro hockey for a while. And he's, in my opinion, the measure of a man, and somebody I continue to look up to today.
Sorry, just quick. We had Cheevers as a coach in Boston, and he didn't like it when the guys did your butterfly. He wanted the guys to stand up and do two. What did your dad try and instill in you when you were younger? Did he ever give you the two-pad stack, or don't bend your knees, or
skate save?
Skate save? Or was he let you free ride?
I think one of the early things that my dad instilled with me was skating. He always insisted that I learn how to skate properly. I actually played defense when I was really little, and I think having that skating ability helped me further on in my career. I actually still remember going to OHS, Okanagan Hockey School, and I still remember getting taught the skate save and the butterfly. So things have come a long way since then.
I'm just going to jump in here, Carey, with, you're talking about family. You're being a family man, a full-time dad now. What part of the game, you say you miss, but what part of the game have you taken with you into full-time parenthood now that you're trying to instill, the values you're trying to instill to the 3 kids that you're around every day now for a change?
Yeah, well, I always thought when I was done playing hockey, I'd have a ton of time on my hands. But as it turns out, being a parent is more busy than being a hockey player. So, you know, I've just enjoyed being around my kids. You know, working as a unit and in different aspects is something that we're working as a 5-man unit. I know there's 6 guys on the ice too. But, you know, I'm just enjoying being a part of my kid's life and being here on a daily basis.
And how much is that distance from the game? And I know you're keeping a close eye on some nights, but how much is that distance given you as far as taking that step back? Is it giving you an appreciation of you wanting to get back in the game eventually? Is it too soon to tell? Or is it giving you the distance that, you know, you want to be away and be a family man for upcoming years?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. You know, for the first year of not playing, I actually found it quite difficult to watch the games because I don't know if it's kind of like watching somebody else do what you want to be doing. Right. If that makes sense.
Yep.
And then, you know, over the last year, I felt like I've really been drawn back towards the game quite a bit. I've watched quite a few of the games this year. As far as being involved with hockey, maybe in the future, you know, I have 3 kids under 8 years old right now, and I just want to be, you know, as present and a part of their lives as much as possible, you know, for the near future. You know, maybe, you know, when they're all teenagers and they don't think I'm cool anymore, maybe I'll be involved more in hockey. Yeah. But for now, I'm pretty content being.
Yeah. You won't be talking about a 5-man unit.
You'll be pretty content being just dad, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be talking about not a 5-man unit, but you'll be talking about being shorthanded then when you're not cool enough, eh, anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And Carey, do you put sometimes your skates on with your kids?
Yeah, we've made a few trips up to Big White. They have a beautiful outdoor rink out there. It's you know, when the conditions are right, it's amazing to be able to go out there and skate with my kids. I've actually was on the ice twice this past week with my daughters. They had school field trips to the rink, so being able to go watch them skate around and learn how to skate's been a joy. And I've been taking Lincoln down to our local rink over the course of the winter, and he's just learning how to skate. So it's been pretty fun to watch them learn a new skill.
Hey, Price, did you have the chance to watch the kid here, Dolbesh?
Yeah, I've watched a little bit. One thing that I really love about him so far is his compete level and his body language. You know, it's I've always told young goaltenders that your body language is such a big aspect of bringing confidence to your team, and I liked what he brings.
Yeah, I like him very well. He remind you a couple of stuff. You know, how he compete. He's a big size, a good athlete, and. No, he's. I like the kid too.
He definitely has that compete level. Both of those guys are playing really well right now. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. I think people don't understand how good of a skater you were, and how I used to, when I was in hockey night for years, we would always watch the warm-ups, and Carey would go out there with his goalie stick and have a better wrist shot than I ever had in my life. And here he is as a goalie in goalie skates and equipment, and it was so fun to watch. You said your dad taught you, you know, skating's so important. 2 of the best of that era is you and Marty, probably the 2 best skaters. One guy that kind of, I don't want to say struggles with skating, but labors when he skates is Brendan Gallagher when you played your career with him. And it is so awesome to see him this year. A little tougher last year and a bounce back year, and no reason as to why, or not much of a bigger reason as to why the Canadians are having a lot of success. They've jumped on his back many nights when he's just been that guy that engine in him just never slows down.
Yeah, well, it's tough to be fast out there when you're dragging your knuckles around the ice, right? No, obviously, I have a lot of love for Gally. He brings that compete level, and he drags guys into the fight every night, and he plays a tough game. You know, I've always had a lot of respect for guys that play the game that way. It's not an easy way to play. To bring that fire and energy and play hard minutes every night, it's not easy to do. And to see him this year get rewarded, it's a good feeling to see your buddy succeed like that.
Yeah. You've just mentioned how the two guys are playing pretty well for the Habs. Sam's going to have a chance to wear the national team jersey here in just a little bit. He's done so at the World Championships a couple years back, winning gold. But you've been on the international scene. You've been wearing that jersey. You've been the man to bring a championship to Canada, which, you know, I'm not saying they're not the favorites, but would be a huge feat, obviously, at the Four Nations here. What advice would you have for Sam? And you know, are you looking forward to seeing him hopefully get a chance to be the guy?
Yeah, for sure. It's a special time, obviously, for a player from any country to be able to put on their nation's sweater. You know, obviously, I was blessed with the opportunity to play for Canada on a couple of occasions, and you know, I guess my biggest advice would be just to enjoy the moment. You know, those you don't know how many chances you're going to get at that. You know, I thought I'd get more chances than I did, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that I got, but you know, those are just special moments in your career, and just enjoy it. And if you get the nod, go in there and just compete like heck out there.
Carey, we talked about Dobesh and Monty. As a goaltender in Montreal, what's the best advice you could give them? Because Dobesh is now on every lips in Montreal of the fans, and what's the best advice you could give them, because the mental pressure, the pressure in Montreal is so high for a goaltender?
Yeah, it's you know, I think the biggest advice you can give to a goaltender, any goaltender really, it doesn't really matter where you're at, is just living day to day and focusing on your task at hand. Usually that involves just focusing on your goal for the day and what you want to accomplish at the rink that day, whether you're practicing or you're doing your game day routine. It's easy to break everything down, and Steph always reminded me of this when in our time together. It's just focusing on smaller goals and just focusing on the day and making the most of it.
Yeah, so you remember how many times I have told you to make sure at the end of the day or at the end of the year to have no regrets. You got any regrets today?
Not very many. You know, outside of achieving the ultimate goal of winning, you know, I feel like I've accomplished everything that I would have asked for. If you would have talked to an 8-year-old boy out in Anaheim Lake and you were to hand him this and tell him that you were going to play for 15 years for a storied franchise and having a successful career, I would have been like, all right, sign me up. So, you know, I'm very thankful for the opportunity that I had.
Carey, you just said something really neat. You said, you know, enjoy the moment. And whenever I speak to players that are still playing today, the one thing that I say to them is, you have to take a moment to yourself today, not when you're done, today, to understand you're in the greatest league in the world on one of the greatest teams, and enjoy this moment. When you look back at your career, do you have a moment that you just replay in your head every now and then, something that, you know, brings you back to being, well, still Carey Price, but Carey Price when you were 20, 22, 24, 26?
Oh yeah, there's lots of moments like that throughout my career, but I've always thought that one of the biggest moments in my career that I had a oh wow moment was the night that we retired Patrick Roy's number. You know, being able to be a part of that ceremony and being able to stand next to him as his jersey number went up to the rafters was a really special moment for me to be a part of. And you know, I still remember, I had a dream when I was a little boy. I must have been probably about 7 or 8 years old. And I remember, for some reason, I remember this clear as day. I remember I was walking down a red carpet. I was just a little goaltender, and I remember I walked up to Patrick Roy, and he looked like he was 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
You know, and for whatever reason, that dream always stuck with me for the rest of my life. And to be able to say that I got to play for the same team that he did, it really came full circle for me.
Passman wins too?
Wow. But yeah, do you realize that you're the goalie with the most win in Montreal Canadian history? That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's I've had a little bit of time to reflect on things, and like I said earlier, I think I just have the utmost gratitude for the opportunity that I had, and playing for one team in particular, the Montreal Canadiens, is something that I'm very, very proud of.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so I know, it's 2 years removed now, and you had worries about living your everyday life post-career. Your knee was obviously a huge issue. Has it taken you away from many hunting and fishing time? Are you able to tell us that the knee is in a better place and a better health than it was when you actually gave it up? And has it hampered you at all in your everyday life 2 years removed?
Yeah, I would say on a day-to-day basis, I'm very thankful for the health that I do have. There's times where I'm doing something that, my younger self would think it'd be pretty easy, and I get swiftly reminded that that's not the case.
Yep.
But I would say in general, I would say in general though that I'm feeling pretty good.
Last one, Carey. You will be eligible for the Hockey Hall of Fame. Is this something you think about?
Well, I've thought about it, sure. Especially being a part of Shea's induction last year. It was special to be a part of that and see the process. And I also understand and know that there's a lot of guys that are patiently waiting in line to enter that hall, and that's a special place. And if I were to get a call, obviously I'd be overwhelmed and overjoyed. It'd be a special moment for our family, but I also know that it's a special place and it's really hard to get into.
I want you to know that as two fans of the way you played, that Marc and I are pulling our names out of the balloting, so to let you in ahead of us.
Yeah, we'll try to give you a better shot at it.
Get a better shot at it. So you don't have to thank us on air now. We'll just send us a note later. But from a lot of Montreal Canadiens fans that grew up or have watched you over the last so many years, everyone would love to see that day happen.
You guys are gentlemen. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you this. Obviously, when you play a long time, I've had teammates, and Carey was young when we got a chance to be teammates, only for a very few days. But you could tell how special he was. And best part of it is, you stay true to yourself. Humble, just the gentleman that you are. So cheers and all the best.
Thanks, Marc. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Carey, for your generous time, and best of luck for the suite. Thanks a lot.
I thank you, Carey.
Thank you, Carey.
Say hi to Millie, Lives, and Lincoln, and obviously your beautiful wife.
Angela.
Stay in touch together.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate your time. It's good to see all of you guys again.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye-bye, Carey.
All right. Take care, buddy.